Brian, what more can you tell us about where things stand on the shutdown?
Well, as far as any future negotiations, from what I understand, the Senate is out next week, from what I've been told. So unless it happens today, it's certainly not going to happen next week. Mike Johnson is not calling the GOP back into session to at least go over some of the appropriations and maybe pass some bills. So none of that's going to take place. But the only wait's going to happen right now, Emily, are people waiting at the airport to find out if their flight is going to take off. I mean, as we've been talking about all morning in kind of the back chat, there are about 40-plus airports planning to scale back thousands of flights. About 780 flights, to be exact, were canceled proactively yesterday for the weekend. Now, I know, David, you mentioned you're about to get on a plane. I'm about to get on a plane a little bit later this afternoon. We'll see if those planes take off on time. But major ramping down, so far scaling down on air traffic controllers. Midway through this month, November 14th, we'll go down to about, I believe, a 10% reduction there. So great wait times look ahead for those that are traveling. And if you're looking at packages as well, Kentucky and Memphis both are impacted with FedEx and UPS. So perhaps your packages shipping for the holidays may take a little bit longer to get there.
Absolutely. And talk about political malpractice. I mean, my goodness, people, you know, a pox on all your houses. Get it done. And get me to my destination on time, by the way, on a narcissistic level. All right. Brian, let's talk about this New York Post headline. Well, it's everywhere. It's a headline everywhere. Trump relishes evil, corrupt Nancy Pelosi's retirement. Great thing for America. He's so classic. Anyhow, he said, look, you know, you impeached me twice, and that was ridiculous. Of course, the Speaker Pelosi was there and Speaker when Obamacare was passed. So what a track record. You know, San Francisco, you can have her. She's not necessarily the San Francisco treat, but good luck. Brian, your take.
That's good. That's good. I never liked the San Francisco treat anyway. Hey, remember Nancy Pelosi also ripped up that speech at the State of the Union. That was I think a highlight in her career as well. Yeah, remember that. Now, I can say I do not agree with her at all politically. I probably wouldn't have voted for anything that she ever submitted. But I will say this. She was really good at keeping her party together and keep them organized and keep them in step, and bringing in people like AOC, people that might have gotten way far left, to kind of bring them all in to vote together and keep them on the same page. Now, I can't say that for other GOP speakers that we've had in the past. They have not been able to maintain complete control of their conference like Nancy Pelosi did. So from a job standpoint, she was good at what she did. We just all can disagree 100% of what she was actually supporting. But Nancy Pelosi stepping aside and going back to Northern California to enjoy perhaps a San Francisco treat. David.
Hey, Brian, this is a perfect question for you because I know sometimes you decide to walk to work to the White House. You're on the streets there of Washington, D.C. ABC News has this new headline out, which reads, D.C. National Guard deployment in the nation's capital ordered by Trump is extended until February 28th. That order, of course, was originally started back in August as part of a crime-fighting mission. First of all, talk about kind of the optics. Are you still seeing National Guard troops pretty prevalently on the streets there of the nation's capital? And beyond that, what are your thoughts in terms of this extension and its impact? President Trump, of course, has said that he's been able to turn around the crime situation there in Washington, D.C. Moving forward through the new year, this seems like it will be a continuation thereof.
Yeah, President Trump has done an excellent job curbing the crime here in D.C. We can all admit that. I don't see him as much as I did initially. Now, I know we have around 2,000 troops that are in this D.C. area. Perhaps they're just in areas that I just don't no longer travel to, or I just don't go to, so I don't see them, which is a good thing. Maybe they're spreading themselves around the area. Now, that's been extended to February 28th, so perhaps from that point, I do anticipate it going a little bit further, and I do anticipate he's always talked about going to additional cities. Now, some of these officers, which is really interesting, Terrence, some of them actually have weapons on them, and some of them don't. Some of them have been doing more like what you could describe as yard work, trash cleanup, things like that. They picked up thousands of bags of trash, mulch, spread mulch in certain park areas. So they are being very productive on the ground. But the presence of them on the streets of any city here in America is a good thing. I think it does distract or deter people from, committing violent crime or just random assaults in public. I think it's a good thing, but we'll see if it goes beyond February 28th. I think it will. I think it's a good thing to have them here in the nation's capital, and I think they're an asset. Every time I see them, Terrence, I thank them for their service and that they're leaving their families to serve our country. It's a good thing.
Hey, Brian, by the way, if I can just add really quickly, and this is for Brian and for David, as you guys traveled today, I also thank those TSA workers. I traveled last week, and I tried to make it a point to say thank you because they're working without a paycheck, and I will say my experience was a very good one. They were very professional, very calm, very patient, and I can only imagine how much intestinal fortitude it takes for that sort of thing, particularly when you know you're not getting paid. So just my little 2 cents, guys.
Brian, you do that all the time.
Yeah. I do that all the time. Real quickly, in the Oval Office yesterday, I asked President Trump about air traffic controllers. I have several pilot friends. They tell me there's one thing the government does, and that is air traffic controllers. They're going to do major upgrades to the system to make it a little bit more efficient for these air traffic controllers, which are one of the reasons why they're scaling back all these flights. So God bless them as well. God bless everyone at TSA. Absolutely. They don't want to have you ask you to take off your jacket and your shoes any more than you want to do it, but they do it with a smile, and I think that's important. So thank you for your service.